This podcast is entirely listener supported. To find out how you can help, head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
I understand why you wash them if you're imagining that you stepped in shit every time you take a shower.
I imagine that I'm stepping in shit all the time, and I can never get clean. Never get clean. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Let's talk about animals.
We talk about animals a lot.
God, I love animals. Specifically animals in a city that are not necessarily wanted. Things like squirrels, rats,
A
possums.
tale as old as time, or something like that. Isn't this a Disney movie with the animals that are lost?
Oh, that
and
was
they gotta get home?
that was a Don Bluth movie.
Homeward Bound?
That was
What is that called?
American Tail.
Oh, somewhere out there.
Yeah. Jewish cartoon characters, which meant a lot to me when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, those cartoon characters.
Because you're like 50% cartoon, right?
I'm 50% cartoon, and it really meant a lot to me to see cartoons represented in the media. Awooga! This is a story that was sent in by Edson Napper.
Edson.
A returning champion.
Yeah.
Which he sent in under Crazy Animal Vet Lady.
Well, I expect her to be crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Edson, you done goofed.
What
love
happened?
you.
What'd he
love
do?
you, Edson. This is a story about a woman. Yeah, she's kind of eccentric, but she takes in injured animals in New York City. And not like dogs, cats, stuff like that, but animals like I'm talking about, like possums, rats,
What?
squirrels, animals
Her
that...
apartment must smell fantastic.
Yeah. So this is the thing. There are all these animals in the city that just, there's not a place for them in the city. They're not supposed to be there, you know? And
Right.
people don't really think much about them. But she is actually licensed by the Department of Environmental Conservation in New York to rehabilitate these animals. And so what she does is if she sees a squirrel on the road that's like hurt, or somebody else sees a squirrel or a pigeon or whatever,
Shouldn't touch those, or they carry disease.
that she touches them and other people touch them, bring them to her apartment,
What?
and she rehabilitates them in her apartment.
That doesn't seem legal.
Well, so it's kind of like
She's definitely the lady that I always live next door to.
she's not the greatest neighbor. I'm going to say that. It's not a great neighbor to have. But it's a legal kind of loophole-ish thing. Like when they interviewed her, this was a Vice article, she did not want to be under her real name. Because her landlord doesn't know that she has animals in her apartment.
He suspects.
I think he kind of
What's
knows.
all that chitter chatter in there?
Yeah, it's just like, dum 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 dum, dum 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 dum.
Well, 1 second.
Mrs. Crenshaw, open the door.
Get in your cage. Get in your cage. Just 1 second. I'll be
Mrs.
right
Crenshaw,
there.
I'm clearly hearing pigeons in your apartment.
Oh, that's not. The window's open. The window's.
Yo, that was not a...
Get in your cage.
Mrs. Crenshaw!
Okay. Hello. Hi. Hello, Mr. Napster.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to come in and investigate your apartment. I'm going to have to take a look at the whole apartment.
Well, here it is. Everything's in order. You see, I just have a few of my tarps laid out. I'm re-tarping the apartment.
Retarping the apartment.
Yes,
You know you're not allowed to make any changes to the apartment.
Well, just my personal little decorations. I like tarps. So many tarps. I'm a tarp collector. I collect tarps. I also collect noise machines underneath the tarps. Just a little sound effects machine. Don't touch that.
I'm going to reach under the tarp now and lift it
Sir.
because I'm very, very concerned and nothing could possibly stop me from doing this.
Don't put your hand
now
on that,
that I've made up my mind, I'm going to...
No, stop attacking him. Stop attacking
I am
him.
literally covered in animals and they're flying me out the window. You can't do this to me. I'm the inventor of Napster. It's not relevant anymore. But it used to be.
This is the worst catastrophe since my last landlord, Mr. MySpace, was here.
Oh, you mean Tom? Tom from MySpace. So this woman it's kind of this weird legal loophole because the city says, the Department of Environmental Conservation says, you are allowed to rehabilitate these animals. If you see an animal, you are licensed to fix it. But clearly she's not allowed to have them in her apartment. And she has hundreds of them in her apartment at a time.
Wow.
Hundreds of these animals.
Let me take a wild guess
Can
here.
you imagine that?
Let me take just a wild guess. Single. She's single?
Newly single, newly divorced. Yeah. A few years ago, she got divorced. That's correlation and not causation, Jeff, and I don't know.
Just
There's
wild...
nothing wrong with loving animals.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with 300 or 400 weird animals in your apartment at any given time.
No, she's doing good work.
Well, she really is. Here's the thing. She's doing it out of her own pocket, too.
Huh.
So she's licensed.
Is she she's a veterinarian in her daily life, and then she just kind of takes her work home with her?
No, she takes care of so many animals. These animals need to be fed, especially the babies. Like if she finds like a newborn squirrel that's been abandoned, or the mother died, or a pigeon or something like that, or they need to be fed like every hour and a half to 2 hours.
From her mouth.
Times 300 from her mouth. She needs to baby bird the food into their mouths.
That's a lot of commitment. She really...
But no, she needs
just
to feed them.
the pure pre-chewing hours that she puts in.
She needs to feed them every hour and a half. Just performing, like getting the supplies to perform a surgery on one of these animals can cost $180 to $200 worth of supplies because it needs to be clean. It needs to be, and as you can imagine, it's probably not the easiest department to keep clean.
Okay, so here's my dilemma.
And she does it out of her pocket. She has no time because she spends all her time fixing up these animals. Her job, she's a dog walker. She's a dog walker because that way she gets to walk around and find more animals.
She's a dog walker and dead squirrel finder.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the worst show on the CBS lineup this year.
Dog walker.
She's a dog walker by day, but at night, she finds lost animals and brings them home. I have a feeling there's a family of possums on this street that needs my help. I'm going to help them, John.
It's a cold case, Joanne.
No.
Those possums were lost weeks ago.
I'm telling you I can find them. If anyone can find them, it's me.
You've always had a nose for possums, Joanne. I don't even know what that means.
I think it's just a compliment, and I appreciate it because I do consider myself to have a nose for possums. That's why I'm thinking I can find them.
Joanne, this is a plan that's too crazy to work. You gotta let these possums go.
No, I'm telling you, this plan will work. I'm going to search in those bushes.
Are those bushes right there?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole plan. That's all I ever do.
Okay, do you want me to hold the dogs while you...
It would be great if you could hold the dogs.
Okay.
It was canceled after 3 episodes. No dramatic tension, they said. Animals were hard to work with, they said.
Yeah.
But I really loved it.
It was boring as all hell, but really it had a lot of heart.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and people say that the only reason people watched is because The Mentalist was a lead into it. But you know what? There's something about that show. I think it's going to be a cult classic.
Here's my ethical dilemma here.
Sure.
Right? Doing good work. Nice lady, rehabilitating animals that are largely ignored and I guess need to live longer than like a week longer than they normally would. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Spend all your money rehabilitating the squirrel that's going to die shortly thereafter. Okay, that's nice, lovely, wonderful. Should we be okay with animal surgery in someone's apartment?
Well, I think there are two things going on here. Number one, she's doing work that she's government licensed to do in a way, sort of.
That's what her government license says.
Like you could sort of like
in a way.
Like it says licensed to do this shit. Sort of just get out of our office, Joanne.
You are licensed and bonded in the state of New York in a way.
In a way, ish. Seriously, Joanne, you have to stop coming by. She's doing this work that clearly like is good, but it's not her job.
Yeah.
You know, and there is no official place for her to do this.
She's a vigilante veterinarian.
She is the Punisher of veterinarians.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She lives in that weird tenement building.
Yep.
And she's got those crazy, wacky neighbors, and like they all know, like, dude, she's doing things she's not supposed to do, but she's doing it for the community, and so we're gonna protect her.
It's weird that she wears that squirrel skull shirt.
Is it?
I mean...
I think the Dreamcatcher earrings are worse.
Yeah.
But that's so Joanne, though.
It is
you know what I
so
mean?
Joanne.
It's kind of just her thing.
Yeah.
Got a lot of topaz on.
She's good at branding.
Yeah. The biggest thing to me is that there is no space for her to do this. Because, God damn it, I don't want her as a neighbor.
No.
Holy
who would?
shit. I've
Who
had
would?
some shitty neighbors.
Yeah.
I've had some shitty neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, I would live next door next to the murder cult.
Have you?
Yeah, I lived next to a murder cult. They're
That seems
quiet.
unpleasant.
It
They
was-
were very quiet.
They were very quiet.
You know what?
Minus murders.
Too quiet.
Yeah. There was like a couple times you would hear like a scream.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was real quick.
You
They
don't
were
want-
good at there's a whole cult devoted to murder. They know how to do it.
You don't want noisy neighbors, but you don't want neighbors that are too quiet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not good
Which is
either.
why I like to occasionally just pound on my wall and scream to let
Yeah.
my neighbors know I'm there.
Just a
I
reassuring
don't know
scream.
them, but I just like to be like, still here. Still here. Sometimes you have sex and I know. I just like to scream things like that out.
Yeah.
Once again, haven't met them. Don't know why. They never seem to be home when I knock.
I'm sure it's reassuring to them.
Yeah. But no, 300 of these animals.
300
At a time.
At a time.
Cages. This is a New York apartment, so it's not huge.
Not large.
Rent stabilized, so that means it's been her apartment for a long time.
Oh God.
And
Is she a hoarder of living things?
whoa, that's a great question. I don't think so because she brings them back to health and then gets rid of them.
Right. And then
Man,
gets more.
But wait a minute. I learned from Bob Ross that you can't do that. Remember, Bob Ross was
Pretty
always
Little Clouds guy?
Yeah, he was always rehabilitating animals and telling you how they were doing. And he brought a squirrel back.
You know
to
more about
health.
Bob Ross than I do.
Dude, I used to watch Bob Ross every day.
He had Pretty Little Trees and Pretty Little Clouds, but I never heard him talk about animals.
You've got to go back and watch some Bob Ross because there were narrative threads that you did not see that
You were
were
like
happening.
deep level
I'm
Bob Ross.
huge into Bob Ross, dude. When I went to RossCon this year,
Uh-huh.
and I gave my panel on the animal rehabilitation stories
That's
of
what your
Bob
panel
Ross.
was about?
That was what it was about, man. I was in the Magnolia room.
I thought. See, I was over at Pretty Little Trees, Pretty Little Clouds.
See, you say that you're not a big Bob Ross fan, but you were at RossCon.
Well, I mean, I was dabbling.
Sure.
You know, you're not going to not go to
You have-
RossCon.
No, of course not, because it's becoming such like a big media event.
It really is. It's kind of trendy now.
Yeah.
I liked it better when it was, back in its
Like,
roots.
because they're doing things now where you see like the new Star Wars teaser.
It's weird. And everybody's wearing the wigs now.
Yeah.
Like everybody. All
Cosplay
little,
is huge at RossCon.
It's all just
But did you ever
visions of
wonder
Ross.
why there were so many squirrels and falcons cosplay?
I did. I just thought they were really, really strange Bob Ross costumes.
No. So he
I mean,
actually
you can see it though,
rehabilitated.
right?
I could see it.
You can see it.
No,
does
so
have a
he
little
he
squirrel
would
bird
tell stories about bringing a squirrel back to life, and then the squirrel kind of became dependent. He would bring a squirrel back to life.
to life?
Yeah. Did you not know that Bob Ross was also a necromancer?
I really...
You were not paying
I
attention
really
to Bob
wasn't.
Ross.
I really should have paid more attention to Bob
If all you got out of Bob Ross was a painting show, like you just were not watching. Because he was a dark wizard, a master of arcane magics,
I did
and a lover of fucking
I
animals.
didn't realize. I did think it was weird when he was painting with the blood of virgins. I thought that was an odd choice.
Well, because sometimes Omber's not going to do it, dude.
No, that's true.
When you're trying to get those
Not
real,
even-
like, crisp fall colors,
not even burnt umber.
you need virgin blood.
Well, I've really learned a lot about Bob Ross.
Well, you should come to RossCon next
really
year. I'll show
should.
you around.
Can I get? Do you think I can get a press pass?
They're really tight about those. They're cracking down.
Yeah.
But no, so he would rehabilitate animals, and I've heard this from other places since, but I remember Bob Ross being the first place I heard it, where it was like the animal becomes dependent on you feeding it, and sort of becomes a little bit more domesticated than is good for it.
Right? No, I remember like the whole shoebox bird thing that you
Yeah.
can't keep the bird in the shoebox too long, or else it doesn't know. It literally does not know how to fend for itself anymore.
So, and I would imagine that this woman knows a good balance of how
she
long.
wants that.
But
She wants that to happen. That's her
she's
goal.
like, listen, pigeon, go free, but like, look,
Listen,
if you want to like come back, like you should.
I'm here. I'm here is what I'm saying.
Like I'm saying, you need to go live your life. She's like she's like a Jewish mother to pigeons. It's like I want you to go to college. I want you to have fun, But like maybe you go to college in town. Like maybe you don't have to go so far away from home.
I told him to go. I told him to leave. All these animals are free
Would
to
it-
come and go as they please.
Would it kill them to come maybe bring me a dead lizard every
I
once
mean,
in a
just
while?
say hello. I'm out walking all the dogs, and they could just fly by, and it wouldn't even take them anything. I'm here.
It couldn't hurt unless they got within range of the dogs, which will attack.
Well, then that would very much hurt. But I'm just saying that I have an open door policy, an open window policy, mostly for the ventilation. It gets very stinky in here, but still, seriously, you can come and go as you please if you're one of my animals. I mean, autonomous animals.
I'm just saying I keep stuff in the fridge and it goes bad.
I would feed them.
It goes bad if you would just come by.
Listen,
I never know. You never call before you come by, so I don't know.
You broke your wing.
I'm on a fixed
it.
income.
I fixed your wing, and all I'm saying is I don't. It doesn't need to be a broken wing for you to come back.
What do you got to get mauled by a raccoon before I see you?
Listen, I don't. If do you need me to start breaking wings, I can break wings.
So you're saying that she wants these animals to stick around,
I think maybe.
like a weird Snow
Listen.
White Disney princess, but with vermin.
Yes.
I'm wishing for the one I love. I'm wishing that you weren't in the sewer.
This is not as adorable as you think it is, Joanne.
That scene where she gets dressed to meet the prince, and they're bringing her.
And it's old newspapers.
Yeah, they're bringing
Plastic bags and like human hair. I'm going to meet my prince tonight. Woo! Ma'am, you are not on the list for the ball.
What are you talking about? I've dressed up and I'm ready to be seen.
You are disgusting and you smell disgusting and you are not. What did you say your name was?
My name is Joanne. Joanne
Joanne Berkman?
Joanne Bergman.
Oh my God, you are on the list.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's fucking written in some sort of pigeon scratch or something.
Oh, I
All
have
right, but go
terrible
on in.
handwriting. Good job, pigeon.
Translation: I carry the plague.
327 people dead tonight as the avian flu spread
At the governor's ball.
the governor's ball.
We lost a lot of people, a lot of good humanitarians, a lot of people who did a lot of good work for the city. But as an aside, silver lining, I do think I found the woman I loved here tonight. This plastic bag was on her left foot. If anybody fits this plastic bag, they are the woman I love.
What is it, Scratchy? What is it, Scratchy? What are you trying to tell me? What's that, Scratchy? I should go back to the governor's mansion?
Ma'am, I'm here from the CDC. You literally cannot get near the governor's mansion again.
But my muskrat tells me that I must go there.
Yeah, you have a very advanced form of toxoplasmosis. You are hearing and seeing things and are way more sympathetic to these animals than you should be. And it's making you... Oh, God!
Oh,
no!
Scratchy!
They're covering me like a suit! Oh, God! Oh, but I also invented SoundCloud. It needs me! I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this woman a humanitarian or is she a crazy animal lady? We would love to know. You can tweet at us your opinion with the hashtag Governor's Ball. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you like the show, if you're enjoying it, please rate it on the platform that you listen to it on. If that is iTunes, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star review.
If it's Napster, do it there.
If you listen to us on LimeWire, that's fine.
Yeah, if Friendster is where you hang out.
What you need to do is go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating. Don't review the show.
Oh God, why would you?
That's stupid to review the show. But do leave us your iMesh username so we can share files with you later. Thanks.